So having a difficult conversation is always something that's something you don't really like, right? We don't like having difficult conversations. There's an audiobook I listened to from Stephen Covey, and he's talking about the 7 habits of highly effective people. And there's 2 principles that I really, really liked. And the first one was seek first to understand and then to be understood. And I'm trying to incorporate this mindset into the conversations I'm having at work, but also with Kaylee, because if I don't first want to understand what she's feeling and why she's feeling that way, why she feels like I'm not hearing her, then there's no reason for me. It doesn't help for me to try to explain myself, because we're both just being like, oh, he doesn't understand me, she doesn't understand me, that's it.
But this is something that you don't think you did in our conversation.
I think towards the end I tried.
Okay.
I did try, I think, towards the end.
Yeah.
It starts with trying, right? And I think a very similar thing then is, and this is something you can also ask yourself when you are having a difficult conversation, when you're having any conversation, what is the intention you have when you listen to someone?
Yeah.
Is your intention to speak, or is your intention to understand? Because when I'm just listening to her and I already know what I want to say next, and I already know I have everything lined up of what I have to say, giving my statement, then it's like we're not working together. And I realized that we were not really aligned. So I was like, no, let's stop and let's think of, well, let's first remember we're in this together. It's a win-win or lose, right? And we either win together or we lose together, but we're in this together, so we have to work together. Let me try to understand you so that you can then also be open to understand me.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like I'm understanding you, I'm interested in your perspective, then you're not going to be open for my perspective.
Yeah.
So this is one way of how I can ask questions to really help understand Kaylee, and this comes with humility. I really have to be humble to hear where I have made a mistake.
Yeah.
60 to 70% of the way we communicate is decided through our body language. So when we had this conversation, at first I realized that I was not completely facing towards Kaylee. I was facing somewhere else, and I was looking
toward the table.
I was facing toward the table. We had a round table, and then I was like, no. And we were also a bit further apart from each other than normally. And it doesn't really help. And so what I did was I changed my position to be facing you. I came a bit closer, and then I also, when I noticed there was a point when you were getting really uncomfortable, I was like, hey, we're in this together, and I hugged you, because this way I wanted to show you that no, you are, I love you and I want to hear you, right? And we're in this together. And I think this was kind of like a changing moment in the conversation itself.
Yeah.
Right? Because it helps realigning where we are, and realigning our perspective, because our perspective is like, no, we do want to work together on this.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And actually, after we realigned, you said something to me which from my perspective was completely not how I was feeling, but because you were really drawing to me physically and also emotionally, I was able to hear it and also explain then my side without fearing, I guess. And that's especially important for me because growing up I didn't have safety when giving feedback or having conversations, so yeah, it was really helpful to have physical proximity and also also then the openness emotionally. So those were things that helped during the conversation, and then afterwards I actually wrote into our diary. So we have a shared diary that we created when we first met, and every now and then we'll write into it either messages to each other or just reflections on where we are in life and what we're thinking about in our relationship. So I wrote down this conversation, into the diary, and that helped me to process where we're at and help to kind of cement our new kind of direction. And also then from me writing, I also had some more thoughts on the conversation and on the topic. So something that's good is to stay open even after you might think you've kind of closed the chapter. It's not really closed. It might have a nice conclusion, but there's always more that you can add to a topic. And so I then said, I had another thought, and Emmanuel was open to that. Something that can happen that's not good in a relationship is that one person starts to shut down in an area on a topic. So yeah, it was good that we could revisit it and talk about my thoughts and yours.
And also ask questions like, what could I have done better, and what did I do bad what was not helpful about how I reacted.
Yeah. Not only did I then share some more thoughts, but Emmanuel also was asking for specific feedback about how we handled the conversation in general. Yeah. So
lots that we learned just from one conversation, and I think it's an ongoing process of us learning how to communicate best way possible, how to be open, and how to allow difficult conversations to happen as well, how to allow each other to give feedback and to receive feedback in a good way. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful for you too.
Please subscribe if you want to see some more videos from us. Hit like if you enjoyed any part of this video.
And if there's anyone you think could be
blessed by our video.
If there's anyone else who you think could be blessed by our video, please share it with them. And we are hoping to see you again next time.